Today we are going to talk about Suisoh, Berg and also Puni Puni Denki's song called Tokyo Nightscape. This song is a very EDM heavy J-pop song and it's at 122 BPM. Okay, before I start, I just want to do a quick self-introduction. I'm Usagi from Singapore and I love J-pop music, from anime songs to JR&B to some of their jazz bands, their rock bands, and J-pop in general. I just want to share a bit more about J-pop music because I am a J-pop fan first and then a producer second. I have started to listen to every single song in detail and try to analyze them. Now with Ableton Live 12's stem splitter, I'm able to split the stems and listen to them much more clearly. And while I'm learning and analyzing on my own, I would also like to share this, be it you're a J-pop fan or producer, that's fine. Feel free to leave in the comments the song that you want me to analyze or listen to, and I'm more than happy to split them up and we can talk about it. First up, this song is made up of an intro, a verse, a pre-chorus, a chorus, or in EDM context I believe we call it drop, and also an instrumental in the middle, and an alternate rap verse, and then finally a chorus and then an outro. Now we'll quickly listen to the intro and see what elements there are. So as we can listen to the intro, it's basically just a synth, a short plug synth. You gradually open up towards the end of the section. Let's listen to it again. Short plucky synth, and then after that, open up, and then the vocals comes in. And for this song, the vocals comes in before the sections. We can see from the verse. The pre-chorus, it starts after the first beat. To me, I feel you can start on the beat, like on the one, definitely, but it will be more interesting if you start before or after. I think it's cooler, in my opinion. So the chorus too, it starts before the chorus. So now let's talk a bit about the vocal production. Alright, for the vocal production of this song, it actually does a lot of sidechain pumping. Let's listen to it. You hear that pumping? It's almost sidechain to the kick. They do it a lot in EDM. I'm not an EDM expert, so if any of you are, please comment down below and share your knowledge with everyone around here. This part is where the interesting part comes in. So if you notice, I wrote over here, Bokumo low octave, and then the lower double enters later on. So let's listen to it. It's like a bokumo, bokumo. So it's like a vocal throw, but they lowered the octave of the vocal throw, which is really interesting and definitely something that I would like to take note of. This second line, they actually added a lower octave double to thicken up the sound. Let's listen to the whole section again. Reverby, very reverby vocals without any special effects. Bokumo. And also towards the end, there's actually like a reverb throw. Next part is the pre-chorus. So let's listen to a pre-chorus. So pre-chorus, like I mentioned earlier on, it starts after the first beat. So after the section starts. And in this case, it starts on 1 and 2 and 3. It starts on the 3. So let's listen to it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So if you listen clearly, there's still a bit of lower octave delay throws over here. It's just very low in the mix, but it's there. And if we listen to it together, you can still hear it. There's this ping pong delay going on, which I really love how they are playing with like the delays and reverbs. Something to note is that, you know, after they introduce the lower octave over here, they actually continue before you fully use something, introduce them in the prior sections, and then lead them in. Let's listen to the pre-chorus vocals. Did y'all hear that vocal throw? This vocal reverb throw is very interesting because it's not like your usual automate the reverb up. It feels like they added some effect to give it like a bit of swirly effect. Same here, reverb throw. So before that, let's just listen to the whole section and we just talk things through. Alright, lower vocal octave, lower octave doubles, okay, and then let's go into the pre-chorus. Oh yeah, another thing to take note is this lead sound over here, because we'll hear it in the vocals later on. This, it's like a transition, so we'll hear it later on. Let's go. Okay, so that's the verse and pre-chorus. Now let's go into the chorus section. Alright, for the chorus section, like I mentioned earlier on, the chorus vocals actually start before the first beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so let's listen to the vocal production. You can see the light, you can see the neon, you can see the crowd. Alright, that sounds so cool. Okay, I think it's one of the super smooth vocals that I've heard before. I really love Suisoh's voice. I think she did some Gundam song. I forgot, but probably, yeah. You can see the light, you can see the neon. So what we hear over here is same thing. We can hear that there's lower octave throw, and also there's additional things, which is the harmonies. You can see the light, you can see the neon. So it's a lower harmony, and then after that with the delay throw, which is in lower octave over here. You can see the neon, you can see the crowd. I really love the harmonies. It's like pan to the sides, and it's very light. You can see the Tokyo Nightscape. Oh. In chorus, they add in harmonies, a lower octave throw, and you know, it becomes much more fuller, much more spread out. You can see the light, you can see the neon. Delay throw, lower octave, still goes. You can see the Tokyo Nightscape. Oh. So for the full section, there's harmonies. And over here, harmonies too. Can't you see? Can't you see? Can't you see? Ah, I really like this part. You can see the loneliness. You can see the loneliness. I think this is something that we should always think about when we record vocals, because it's one of the important things when it comes to singing. It's the attitude, it's the personality, it's the tone. You can see the loneliness. You can see the loneliness. And over here, there's a lower octave double. You can see the loneliness. Did y'all hear that? Alright, over here, you know, lead instruments like transitions or even lead melodies that you put earlier on in the song can be used for another instrument later on, and vocals being one of the instruments, is really interesting that we can use this melody from the verse to pre-chorus and we use it as a transition for the vocals from chorus to the instrumental break. Here we go. Beautiful. Let's just go through the alternate rap verse and let's listen to what they do over here. And with the music, so. The main highlights of this song is vocals, drums, and bass. The synth is actually very low in the mix. It's basically just like these three elements driving the whole song. Alright, and just the vocals, one lead vocal, and it's so good, it's so clean. And over here, they actually added some melody line. So after around 8 bars of rap, it goes into like a melodic line. So here we go. And if you notice the difference between this section and the previous rap section is that there's very little reverb. The singing of the melodic lines, they start to add more reverb. Sharp, punchy, no reverb, dry, almost dry. And then there's very slight slap delays for the rap, but if you notice once the melodic line ends, which I highlighted over here, the reverb totally goes off. There's so much intent in the vocal production and I love it. I love this song so much and please go listen to it. Alright, cool. So that's for the vocal section. Let's go into the drums and bass and other instruments. The main characters are the drums and the bass because other than the vocals, which is the most important, the drum and bass are also hitting very hard. And for the synth, it's actually mixed very low. Tum 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 is accented chords, but it's mixed really low. One of the things I learned listening to so many songs is when producing a song, think of the main characters. Of course, vocals will always be the main characters, but who are the, like for example, you have Naruto as a main character, and who are the Sasuke, who are the Sakura? So for the drums, it's actually quite straightforward. It's 4 on the floor, or 4 to the floor, either one. It's just 4 to the floor. And with the vocals being sidechained, as we mentioned earlier on, and there's also a bit of synth. So together, it actually sounds like this. So this actually gives me an idea. I really want to do a song like that, which is just the drums and the synth and then the vocals. There's so much groove already. You really don't need a lot of things. There's also not a lot of ear candies, to be honest. The ear candies are basically in the vocal production, which is the lower octave double, like we mentioned earlier on, and the very reverby atmosphere. So yeah, that's the verse. Basically just vocals, 4 to the floor kick, and also some synth. And also now let's go to the pre-chorus section. Alright, same thing. So it's still the same thing, vocals, kick drum, and then after that, the same plucky synth. But over here, we are starting to see some changes in the synth. So you can hear there's like a pad sound gradually fading in. Yeah, so the pad sound sort of thickens, and then after that, there's some vocal throw effect. It's like an ear candy. And then over here, you can also see the waveform for the 4 to the floor slightly changing. We can hear over here is basically in the beginning, there's not much like high frequency drums like the percussions or like the hi-hat, but over here you can gradually start to hear it fading in. This is also a good way to build up energy, especially for high frequencies. From one of my mentors, they always remind me that high frequency is a way to add excitement and also energy and lead you into the next section. So what it's doing over here is basically a filter. I'll just show you all over here. It's basically like just doing this and just opening up. Yeah. That's about it. And it's on, I believe those are hi-hats. Yeah. Okay, so after the hi-hats build up, right? This transition over here into it's before going to chorus becomes just the percussion. So kick plus hi-hat. I think EDM you quite drop. Before the drop, there's this build up. High frequency drums or percussions or hi-hats. And then after that, over here, there's some kicks. Dum, 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 come. So there's a boom, 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 snare. So even this is filtered. So if we listen to the whole thing. For the bass, it's actually a very straightforward, like bass line, I would say. And the build up of the synth. And now we have the chorus section, which is really cool in my opinion. The highlight are the vocals, the drum, and the bass. And if we take out the synth, it will still work just as fine. So let's listen to it. But with the synth added in, you can feel like it actually gives it some support. Actually, that's more or less the whole song. Alright, so keep listening to J-pop music. If you like any J-pop music and you want me to listen to it, it can be anime songs, it can be like underrated songs, even some popular songs that you want to listen to like in detail like this, just let me know. Yeah, that's all and I'll see y'all again. Bye bye.